So, hey guys,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know what's trending on Twitter right now?
No.
No.
Your top five professional wrestlers of all time.
Okay.
Well, the WWE superstars, so it's got to be WWE. So it can't be like WCW. So I was thinking about it, and I honestly, I don't know. I guess I would definitely put Triple H on there.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
I like
because
Triple H.
he's
Yeah,
become such like a like staple in that company. I mean, he basically runs the. He
does,
looks like
yeah.
he's gonna run the company after.
yeah. But who else would you put?
I mean, I don't know.
The
It's kind of
Rock?
hard to say.
Yeah,
The
well, I was
Rock would
thinking about The
definitely be
Rock
one.
too, because he made such a big impact and actually successfully made the transition from WWE superstar to movie star, and they
Yeah, which
rarely
is
do
rare.
that.
It's like, and he was also
Stone
like,
Cold Steve Austin.
yeah, Austin probably be another one.
He was huge, yeah, but I don't think I
It's
would
like,
pick him for mine.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know if I'd put Stone Cold on there. He was big at the time, but it's like I don't know if he like pushed. Well, I don't know. It's like because he kind of did the rebel kind of act. He was like the most popular like anti-hero kind of thing. He kind of brought that to WWE. Prior to that, he was a face without being like the normal Ultimate Warrior Hulk Hogan kind of style.
Yes, yeah,
So I guess he did change the business a lot on that. It's like I know it's hard to pass it up because I mean you can't. Even though Sting spent most of his career in WCW, there was not a man like he was basically like a rock through the entire wrestling like era for almost like 3 decades.
uh-huh.
So I don't know if you can really like say that he wouldn't be like an influential person as well, because I mean you listen to some of the documentaries that the WWE people did,
Uh-huh.
and they talk about it. They always talk about like, oh, I'm getting paid Sting money. Like that was a saying. I'm getting paid Sting money. It's like what shows that's an individual who's at the top of the game, and everyone strives to be like him.
Uh-huh.
Because Kevin Nash was saying that. It's like he's even said he's like, yeah, when me and Scott Hall, made the move from WWE or WWE to WCW, it was because we were getting paid Sting money, and that was the reference he used. It's like, so that tells you right there that hey, Sting was probably pretty influential in the business.
Yeah, I never thought about that because he's so quiet and
Yeah, no, he was a
no
straight
drama.
team player. Yeah, there was no drama. He came to play, and what was really interesting is you look at his documentary is really good because he avoided all the pitfalls that usually wrestlers run into. All the drugs and all that kind of stuff like
Yeah.
that. It's like all the cheating. He and his wife stayed strong through like the entire thing. It was really.
I wonder about like you think about the guys who stuck around. You can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The guys who stuck around for decades in WWE, like Undertaker, is still wrestling.
Well, yeah, it's like you'd have to be like say he was it because he had
Is
this
he?
streak
Is he
through
one of the most
WrestleMania.
influential wrestlers?
I mean, I would think so, just because he was pretty substantial through the entire thing. I don't know if influential though, because he did kind of do just the thing. He just
Yeah,
like
I don't
wrestled.
I don't feel like he broke any barriers.
I would say he was a staple of like their brand, but I don't know if he actually like progressed the wrestling.
Exactly.
Anywhere.
I feel like it'd be better to like think about people who maybe change the status quo.
I think it would definitely be like if you're looking at that, then it would definitely be like Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio
Because
they
Rey
brought
Mysterio, yeah, the high flying moves.
they brought cruiserweight. They brought cruiserweights. But it was during their time in WCW where they really like pushed the bar on that. But they made the cruiserweight division like an interesting division, and people started like paying attention to it more than just the heavyweight. Because at that point in time, you got to remember it was the big guys.
It was all like the 7 feet tall guys, yeah.
Yeah, it was the dudes who were fucking monsters of specimens of men that were pulling like big cards, and it's like really and truly people started showing up because of basically those dudes sacrificing their bodies.
Yeah.
It's like and then the Hardys just took it to another level.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, would you actually put just one Hardy on that list, or could you put them together? Because I don't feel like, as far as their solo careers, they really made that much of an impact.
No, but it's like I think as duos, they definitely did change because they put the bar higher for especially for like the extreme matches.
Uh-huh.
It's like and what wrestlers were willing to do to sacrifice their body for the craft. So I think they would definitely go on there.
Going down
like
that line, would Chris Benoit be on the list? I mean, and I know that's a touchy subject because of how he died.
I don't know if Chris Benoit will be on it because he was a technical like expert. It's like and he did do well with that with physicality stuff like that.
And he
but
took a lot of damage. Apparently, he had like an Alzheimer's brain when he died.
He took a lot of falls and stuff like that, and like a lot of like bumps for it that really did a lot of damage to him. But he never did like anything like really extravagant, I would say, like the Hardys did, like on that level. It's like, and his technical ability, I can't see him beating Bret Hart because Bret Hart was Like the Hart family was always like incredibly technical, or Arn Anderson or anyone like that. They were very technical wrestlers.
Hmm.
It's like, and so I don't think he surpassed them in that mode. But it's like, so I would definitely put the Hardys up there just because how they pushed
Yeah.
like the extreme matches to another level. It's like, because I mean then the Dudleys came along, and it started extreme matches became much more violent, and like that, I mean that stuff literally hurts you.
Yes.
I know. It's, what do you say, it was top 5 or top 10?
It was top 5. So, but
That's
I
rough
think
to-
I think I could make an exception and say, like, if you have an iconic tag team, like the Hardys, for example, somebody that didn't
Yeah, I would say that'd
necessarily,
be 1. I think
yeah,
it counts
count
as
them
1.
as one.
It's like, what then I would have to do, you'd have to put Mick Foley on there as well, just because of
Yeah, he
like,
took a lot of damage, and
yeah, it's
really
like that
like
dude.
the concept of him having 3 different characters
Yeah, it's
was
like in
kind of
3 different
revolutionary.
personalities. It's like, while still remaining relevant across all 3. It's like, and I mean, you can't him still getting chucked off that cage.
I
It's
know that
like
was
that's just
insane.
like that was the greatest bump I've ever seen in the history of wrestling. It's like that was insane. Like, I mean, Jerry Lawler put it like, he's dead. Like, I remember him saying that. Oh, he's
I
just
remember he's
dead.
like, "That's it, he's
It's like,
dead."
yeah, it's like, I mean, and I mean, I think everyone felt at that point in time. So like, man, there's no way. That was like, was it like 45 feet or something like that?
I
That's
don't remember.
ridiculous.
Even if it was just 20 feet, it was. Whew.
30 feet. That's what it is. Because they're like, oh, it's a 30-foot cage. Yeah, that's what it is.
What he was
But
against
still.
Triple H in that match, right?
Well, the first one was the Undertaker. It's like, and then
Okay.
did the Hell in the Cell after that with Triple H. So
Okay.
yeah.
Hulk Hogan would have to be on that list, wouldn't he?
I don't know. I don't think I mean, he was the first like really big name, but I don't know if he revolutionized the industry anymore. He just added like some like flair to it. It's like, I think it was kind of like, I don't think it was all him. I think it was just part of like the '80s in general. It's like, if you notice, like movies and stuff kind of shifted that way too. So bigger, like the superhero American kind of became the prominent thing. So I don't know if I'd give him full credit for that.
I don't know. He
Plus,
is the most famous wrestler of all time.
Yeah, but he also, I think him sticking around so long kind of like lessened that
Ah,
legacy
yes,
too.
I agree with that. I need to find a list of the top 5 WWE wrestlers before we sign off.
Top 5?
Top 5.
The Bushwhackers.
So, it's obviously, we already agreed it was going to be Triple H and the Hardys, and I
Yeah, there
believe
too.
did you say Stone Cold?
Jake the
I,
Snake
I
Roberts.
think he was, just because he was the very first anti-hero that kind of like reached that level of like public
Popularity?
Roddy Piper.
So,
What about The Rock?
I don't know about that. And The Rock. I think we said The Rock too, because he's the one
So,
who kind of
okay,
made the
yeah.
jump. So that's 4.
yeah, we have one more to pick.
Give you a whole bunch of them.
Oh, I believe you said something about like Rey Mysterio or Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I would say it would have to be Rey
Don't say
Mysterio, Chris
Undertaker.
Jericho.
No,
Well,
because he
Undertaker
didn't.
really
He
didn't do
didn't like
anything new.
redefine anything in wrestling. He just did his same old shtick.
Yeah, he was like something they
true.
built upon, like a steady like support structure, but he
Yeah.
really didn't revolutionize anything. So I think it would come down to either I'd say Chris Jericho.
Okay.
It's like, or Sting, one or the other, because
Oh,
Sting was
Sting.
so
But was he ever in
revered
WWE?
through. Yeah, he was.
$1
He
million
came-
man.
towards the end, he was. It's like, so, but it's like, I think it would either be Sting, or I think
Chris
Andrew the
Jericho.
Giant.
one of the Andre did, but see, Andre was kind of eclipsed because like he was just big.
Yeah, that was it. He
Okay.
wasn't terribly athletic.
Like, he was not. It's like, and even like most of his matches were not significant. The best one was probably WrestleMania 3, where he fought Hogan, and that was more because Hogan kind of brought the athleticism to it, and it kind of changed the idea of like wrestling.
I'm shocked that
But
we're
no.
not saying Hogan on this list. I'm pretty shocked.
I can't support Hogan just because, like I said, I think he stayed too long in the game,
Mhm.
and I think that that detracted from his like
Legacy?
overall benefit towards it.
Ah.
It's like, because he is a relic now.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you can see in the way he wrestles now. He slowly weighs everything on his reputation, kind of stuff like that. On the Hulk Hogan stuff. He's been doing the same thing for like 50 years now. It's like, but wrestling, I mean, it's kind of evolved into crap now. It's like, but it evolved past him. It's like, if you look at the Attitude Era, which was the best era after the 80s, it's like, that was, he never really adapted with that. He's still Hogan.
But he did start the NWO, not the Wolfpack.
Yeah,
the
which
NWO.
was interesting. It's like, but that was WCW, so you
Yes,
can't
it's
really
true.
include that.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like because they rehashed it for WWE, but it was a lesser form of what was happened. Because in WCW, that was a power base. Like, no, that was a good thing. Like, I would say that was probably like a good move on his part. But he just stuck around too long, where he basically became the villain. You know,
It's true.
and it's like it did more.
Ghost.
Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ghost. Shawn Michaels came to mind, but we had Triple H in there, and Shawn Michaels, even though he was like kind of an '80s icon, as was it the Heartbreak Kid?
Yes.
But Triple H was really the one that kind of stuck around. Shawn Michaels was there, but he didn't like define the business, if that makes sense. And I think he
And
can
he
also
was
be
good.
filtered into that category of cruiserweights like Rey Mysterio and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, but he didn't push it quite as far as Mysterio and Jericho did.
Right.
It's like he did a lot,
Ramon.
like him and Marty Jannetty. Like they
Yeah.
did a really good job at like bringing like that style, that cruiserweight kind of style, competing with the big boys. So that was a good thing. But I think the more impact happened from like Chris Jericho and Rey Mysterio than what happened with the Rockers, back in that day, because people really started to take notice of the cruiserweight division, like really start to take notice of the cruiserweight division, like all the way around during WCW's era when because you had like Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio, who's the little dragon dude that used to wear all stuff like that.
A little
Can't remember
dragon
who it was.
dude. I have no idea.
I can't remember him. It's like, I mean, this is like going back to my childhood and stuff. But no, but like that pushed the cruiserweight division. That's why WCW started like competing with WWE or WWF at the time for ratings, was because their cruiserweight division was such a solid base, and it made people interested in those individuals.
Coco beware.
Maybe it was cool, but he was gimmicky, dude. Just like Jake the Snake. Like I like Jake the Snake, man. That's classic wrestling. It's like, but he was kind of gimmicky too.
That's the only wrestling I ever saw. So
Oh.
I didn't watch much wrestling at all.
I got into it, like, of course, like growing up and being a young kid watching it on like Saturdays and Sundays. I was really into it. It's like, and then fell out of it and didn't get really back into it until the Attitude Era. It's like, because I started with WCW. It's like, and they got us into it with the whole, basically like all that great stuff they did. You had like Diamond Dallas Page. It's like in Goldberg. It's like, and it really started pushing.
Goldberg was more the Attitude Era as well, but not with WWE, obviously.
Yeah, but not WWE. And then WWE was in here next to the invasion of WWE. But that was a marketing move. So the rock people are like, oh wow, that's cool. It feels a little bit less.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you're cutting out like in robot style.
I knew it. He was a robot. This whole entire time.
Well, Steamboat was good too, but you're also getting in that time you're talking like Jimmy, Super Sply, Snuka. It's like the Iron Sheik. It's like stuff like that, and that's more like the more, I guess, like structured version of WWF.
And also, but when they started back then, everybody had a gimmick, and it wasn't like a gimmick that it was like I mean, there was a lot of like racist overtones and
yeah, no, it was more. It was kind of campy.
Yes,
I
yeah,
guess
more
it is,
campy, yeah. I don't know.
Which wasn't a bad thing, because the '80s in itself is kind of a campy era.
It was,
but it's. But I can't say like Attitude Era was probably the best era. It's as far as like storytelling went, because they became more adult. It's like and focused on more, not really like shock value, but just more like in-depth storytelling. It's like, and they kind of got away from it. And I don't even know what the hell WE is now. I've tried to get back into it a couple times. I'm like, man, this is straight garbage. It's like, because their storylines are like stupid and their characters are even dumber. It's like, and what really kills me is like, and I kind of understand why it's drawn back. It's like, but the bumps they take aren't as good as what they were during the Attitude Era. Like, people are more cautious now. And I was like, and I understand, like, from a physical standpoint, they probably needed to do that because the guys were breaking themselves heavily in the Attitude Era. It's like, but once you go that hard, it's hard to kind of like regress.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like, and they still don't have the talent. Like I said, they don't have the talent they used to, because that era of talent in the Attitude Era.
Yeah,
was
I don't
just
feel like there's
incredible.
anybody really iconic now. Although I know everybody's like, oh, Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and
no.
I don't know who else.
Like Brock, he had one gimmick, and that was just he was a big powerhouse of a man, like
Yeah.
gifted, like a genetic like freak. It's like, but other than that, he was not like an engaging character. If you look at like Triple H, The Rock, was it the Nation of Domination, DX, anything like that. Yeah, but no, there was a guy who used to. It was when I said Dragon Knight. Probably should have phrase a little bit more. It was the dude. It was Japanese wrestling. that kind of crossed over at that point in time because WCW gave a lot of like great Japanese wrestlers a chance, especially in the cruiserweight division, to kind of like show their talents. And it's like, and I can't remember the guy's name. It was like Ultimo Dragon or something like that. It was something weird. It's like, but he was really good. But that was WCW, like during that era, which I guess would be, what was it, like late 90s, early 2000s, had like the best cruiserweight division ever seen in like wrestling history. Like they were just phenomenal. It's like, it's such great talent in that period of time, and they put up good matches. It's like, which kind of like paved the way that, hey, these little dudes can hang with the guys who are,
The
6'7"
abnormally large
and
dudes.
like 320 pounds and stuff like that. It's like, which was impressive. And it's like, but that was all because of the work of people like Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko, Chris Jericho. And it's like, and I don't think you'll find a better individual as far as like talent and mic skills outside of The Rock, than Chris Jericho. Like that guy, he had a talent.
Yeah, he was very charismatic, and it was
Yeah,
interesting
he
that
was.
he could go over as a heel and as a face. That was
Yeah, it's like
fascinating.
he was just an incredibly like talented individual.
Yeah,
I think we're good.
So okay, so
Shouldn't
our
be good.
final list then is Triple H. For wrestlers who redefined the sport, who are iconic and will always be remembered for it. So Triple H, Hardy Boys, Chris Jericho,
Walk.
The Rock, and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
That's it. It's probably a good one because they kind of they pushed things into like the modern era. It's like, because all those guys, like, because Rock is the very first. I mean, Batista's kind of getting that vibe too now, but Rock was the first one
He's
to kind of
definitely
like make
crossing over, yeah.
that. It's like, and then Stone Cold was the first basically like anti-hero that kind of came to prominence. Of them was widely. Jericho was one of the very first cruiserweights to ever really like become a main performer.
It's true,
Like
very
it's like, I know
versatile.
people are. Yeah, I remember people in WCW areas, like they would literally turn in just to watch him, like talk. It's like, which is the big thing.
Yeah.
It's like, and then Triple H has defined like the method, because like the guy is, when they say like, there's a reason he's called the game, because he understands the craft, not only in the ring but also on the outside, like the business. That guy understands more about it because he's put himself so much in life. I think he's pushed a little bit further as far as like what a wrestler could achieve. Maybe not as far as like a storytelling quality for it, because it's kind of like gone downhill compared to what it used to be. But like as someone who understands both sides of the business, I think he actually really kind of pushes that bar. And the Hardy Boys, just because they took the extreme matches,
They
it's
really
like-
were amazing.
they once again they were both kind of cruiserweights. It's like, but they took that to like another level where you're like, man, these guys can hang with the big boys.
And also
you get-
interesting how their mic skills aren't really that superior. They're not
Yeah,
good
no, they're
talkers
not.
or trash talkers. It was all
Like-
about the physicality of what they did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they hanged it all on like their physical abilities versus like their actual like, charismatic, like speaking abilities.
What you want? What you want? Come on.